had to prepare room to have my mind blown.
Why would your mind be blown? You already know what's going to happen.
Yeah, but it's fun to watch it again.
So this is going to be normal? Nothing bad's going to happen? Nothing? No revelations?
Maybe some revelations. Here's a cool thing. People did die, but it turns out people who we thought died did not actually die.
But that other guy's dead, right?
I cannot confirm.
Alright.
Alright.
Good to see Granny?
No.
Did Pentagons mean anything in this show?
There's what?
Pentagons.
Pentagons?
feel like
They're part of, like, a lot of transportation circles.
Okay. Feels like I've seen a lot of them. Also, doesn't Winry need to get back to Rush Valley?
At some point.
I mean, her mentor seems pretty chill.
Yeah. I like her mentor. Oh yeah, that fight.
Fullmetalalchemist.com.
Yeah. They have a website. Everyone's got a .com these days. Hey, Dara, how's it going?
It's going.
You having a good time?
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a great time. Alright, you ready?
Yeah.
Colonel. Not the kind of kernel I want inside me. Anyway, welcome back to another episode of First Reaction Fan Reaction. I am your host, King Clothy. With me is my co-host,
Dara Whitman.
How's it going, Dara?
I'm good.
Having a good time?
Yeah.
It's been a heck of a time here.
It has been?
At First Reaction Fan
Nothing
Reaction.
really happened this last episode.
Nothing really happened. Except everything you know is a lie. Today we were watching Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, episode 18, The Arrogant Palm of a Small Human, and episode 19, Death of the Undying. Dara, how do you feel about being so bamboozled?
You
Yes.
son of a bitch.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, before you tell me off for being a terrible person, just want to remind everyone that you can follow us on a variety of social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, at Witty Clothes. You can also find us on Patreon at Witty Clothes. Please give us money and comment on this YouTube video because we will read your comments at some point. And
I feel like my reactions were very good in this episode.
the reactions are fantastic. Because so much happened. Let us start off with The Arrogant Palm of a Small Human and start with a plot synopsis, because, man, we got to get into it. If you recall last episode...
Extra crispy.
Some people ended up extra crispy, and then some people...
Or did they?
Some people went on vacation.
Yeah.
Because that's what you do when somebody gets extra crispy. You go on a vacation. So Major Armstrong takes Ed to Risenbull, where we actually don't see anyone we know from Risenbull. We're just kind of stopping through on the way to elsewhere. But apparently Major Armstrong had orders that they had to stop here and rendezvous. So, interesting. Suspicious.
We did it.
Yay. Oh. Look at her.
Aw.
Are you ever gonna tell me what's going on? Rendezvous.
Rendezvous. Breda.
I'm glad you made it all right, Major Armstrong, sir. Huh? Hey, sup, big guy?
Lieutenant Breda!
Who was that?
He's on Mustang's team.
Okay.
This is weird.
We've seen him before? Yeah.
We've seen, oh, yeah.
Okay.
We've seen
I don't
him
remember
multiple
him.
times.
I believe you.
But while we were there, we meet up with not Granny Pinaco, but with, in fact, Second Lieutenant Breda, who is a member of Mustang's team.
So I don't remember.
We've seen him before.
I know, yeah.
It's very fun. I feel like whenever you see the military guys out of uniform, you're just like, who's that? I'm like, no, we know him.
Unless it's Armstrong or Hawkeye. I really don't remember. And Hughes, but he's dead.
Yeah, he's dead. He is somebody who is, in fact, dead and will remain dead.
Why hasn't he called?
Not to mention that he's got me here to do his repairs.
I have no idea what's going on.
Aw,
Good thing
poor
I
baby.
can explain it all.
When do you get here?
And how'd you even get in?
The
The
window.
window. I mean, it seemed appropriate for a criminal.
Because they're very confused on everything that happened there because...
So am I.
You know, Armstrong made a silly excuse like, we got to go fix your automail. That's why we're going to Risenbull. You guys stay here. And when Ree's like, I could have fixed it. I'm very confused about what's going on here. And, but Ling shows up. You know Ling. Escaped criminal Ling Yao. He shows up and is like, hey, how's it going?
Hi.
I climbed in through the window. Life's great. Having a great time. Anyway, I know exactly what's going on here, which is very funny that somehow he knows what's going on and not anyone else.
It's fine?
It's fine, but before we get that explanation, we go back to Ed, and he is roaming through the desert.
Are we
The desert!
Colonel never said we'd be crossing the border.
Are we going to
Bastard.
Xing?
Mr. Han.
You can see the ruins ahead.
What?
Remember the ruins? You remember the ruins.
Of where?
We'll figure it out.
Thank you.
Automail almost seared through my skin.
Whose idea was it to bring the kid?
It was a direct order.
From?
So as we may recall, Risenbul's kind of towards the eastern end of the country, kind of sort of near the border. Not quite. It's near where Ishvala was, but near where the conflict was, but not quite involved. So they were pretty close to the border. So they were actually going to the desert because there's a desert that separates the eastern part of Mestris from the rest of the world, really. Xing's on the other side, and there's some stuff in the middle. So they are on their way with, so it's Ed, Breda, Armstrong, and some guy named Han.
Wasn't one of the hench people?
There's the guy Han is not, but eventually Fu shows up. Fu is one of the henchmen of Ling. But so they're making a pit stop in the ruins of Xerxes. So Xerxes is a place, it's briefly mentioned like twice before this and only in passing, where Ling stopped on Xerxes on the way over because he was looking up the history of alchemy. It gets like a real vague mention really early on. That was more for people who are waiting for us to get there, because that's the show being like, we're gonna get there, we promise. We promise. We're getting to Xerxes.
So, this is Xerxes, huh?
Xerxes.
Looks just like the fable described it.
Did you say a fable?
It claims the entire kingdom of Xerxes was destroyed in a single night, and that the only survivor wandered into Amestris shortly afterwards.
We have a similar legend in Xing about a drifter from the west. It's said that his
Isn't that
teachings
guy?
were combined with our ancient techniques to form the alchemy we practice today.
Interesting.
Alchemy is primarily used for medical needs, isn't it?
Yes. We know him as the Western Sage.
So the West in his title is supposed to refer to here?
It is believed so, yes.
I wanted to visit the ruins of Xerxes. That route goes by them.
Sure you did, Ling. Now I know why.
But if Xerxes was such a highly advanced society, how were they wiped out in a single night?
Great question.
It could very well just be a legend. What are you gawking at? Come on!
Interesting.
Uh-huh.
And they kind of talk about the history because supposedly both alchemy in Amestris and alchemy in Xing both have similar stories of creation, where somebody came from in Amestris it's somebody from the east came, and Xing is somebody from the west came. So they have to bring them knowledge of alchemy and alchemy respectively.
Like religion?
Not really religion,
Well,
because
like-
it's a scientific practice.
Right, but I mean, like, in I meant the idea of, like, with most religions, like, it's like, oh, this story, like, it's like they're all the same story, but, like,
Yeah.
from different angles.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're happening here.
It's fine.
Right, so it's very interesting because we get to see, like, oh, very, very interesting how we have similar stories and how they all come from this place originally. Interesting.
It sounds like we should all just get along.
Yeah. So I think Breda makes a comment. It's like, hey, why did this place, it was this very, like, big society and everything. How did it just collapse? Nobody really knows what happened with that. Anyway, I'm sure it's not important. So as they're walking through the ruins, they're just kind of figure out, like, what are they doing here? Because this is all set up by Colonel Mustang, at the current moment, we're not a big fan of Colonel Mustang until the moment we realize, Dara.
Yeah.
Everything you know is a lie.
Correct.
Because you know who shows up?
Who?
Edward!
Back east, where I was. It's a nice place. None of the big city noise. And lots of beautiful women.
That damn colonel.
What?
It was all a ruse!
You son of a bitch!
There really wasn't any place in a mistress we could safely hide a dead girl. Especially one that's still alive, you know?
Lieutenant Maria Ross, baby. She's alive.
You lied to me.
I did not lie to you.
You did.
A little bit. I lied to you.
You made me think that she was like a Chris and made me have conflicting feelings about Mustang.
Yeah. But it turns out she's fine.
So like they're all good people.
She's doing good. Yeah, it's so fun how we get the story of like how she came to be. So yes, Maria Ross was
she's not dead. She's not
dead. She's not crispy. She's perfectly medium done. She's not well done. She's just medium. She's doing really well.
There's one little bit that I'm confused by, but I think I might actually miss something.
Yeah.
We'll keep going and then I'll get to that.
Okay.
So the colonel knew that Lieutenant Ross was innocent all along?
So I got.
Yep.
You were getting a horse
This
flesh
seems
in your
little
bed.
too showy, sir. Is
Why?
that what
Everyone's
you think?
okay.
Yeah. They make a point of arresting her in public, and now they announce her guilt to the newspapers before she's even had a trial. Something's not right.
Mm-hmm. Yep. See, they said guilty before trial.
But we can like Mustang now.
Yeah.
I hate you.
I'm here.
Can we tell Al and Winry, please and thank you?
Hey, Bowman, give me the phone for a sec.
Barry?
Yo, Mustang, you seen today's paper? Because there's an interesting article on the...
Hey, Bunny, you know better than to call me at work.
I know
Let me
you-
call you right back. Just hang on,
I know
okay?
what he's doing. Okay.
Oh, yeah, the lieutenant fired a bullet all right. But it was at me, not you. I've still got a hole in my right hand where it passed right through.
Well, that changes things.
Does it?
Barry, I've got a proposition that you might like.
Oh.
So what's our plan?
Gotcha. I promise not to kill anyone. How about 2nd Street in the warehouse?
Why are we trusting a serial killer with this though?
Yeah, why not? He's got nothing better to do. So what happened was that everything that happened was orchestrated. Because I think you made a comment, be like, no, I think it was all, like, it seemed like rash, emotional, like no one was really giving thought. Everything seemed kind of weird. Something felt off. Here's what was off. It was all planned. So basically when
But like there was, okay, the other thing, but like the arrest wasn't planned.
No.
So her like being convicted was not planned.
No, that was clearly a conspiracy from the top of the military down. That's something that Mustang had anything to do with.
Okay. Got
but
it.
once that happened, it's after
And
that
then, like,
story came out.
And then he thought that she actually did it because, and like at the beginning.
No.
Oh, he was just like, that seems off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they have the story. So the newspaper comes out. Fallman, as we remember, calls Barry the Choppers on the other line. And so in the newspaper, we haven't seen the article before, but the article actually like lays out everything that we saw in that interrogation scene where the guy was like, hey, you're missing a bullet. This is what happened. So all of those details are coming to light. And on the phone, Barry the Chopper is like, yo, no, I know why she was missing a bullet. It's because she shot me. I have the bullet wound right here. Before that happens, it's because we see Mustang on the phone. It's becoming clear that when Mustang's on the phone and he's talking like real chill, real casual,
it's in code.
It's all in code, and he's actually talking to important people about important things. So he has a moment where Barry starts talking. He's like, "Yo, buddy, hold on, give me just a second." So then he actually leaves his office because he doesn't know if it's bugged and who's listening in.
Right.
Because he's smart.
Yeah.
And then he goes to like outside to call the line and talk about stuff. So yeah, that's where Barry confirms like, "Hey, no." She like hears everything about that, and they realize
I do like that
Maria Ross
Barry
doesn't
is
do
like
that.
kind of interested in Ross enough to help her.
Yeah, she's like, she's interested.
So he immediately like when he saw that she was arrested and
Yeah.
then found out and was like saying that she wasn't guilty and then immediately convicted was like, that doesn't seem right. So
Yeah.
so basically like most of the main people were like, all right, something's off.
Yeah.
Okay, so we never assumed that she did. So like we never were like, Oh my god, she did it, but then got evidence that she didn't do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, from the beginning, they know the whole thing is shady. And so then they...
I also do love how we just Mustang just, like, trust this serial killer in a mecha suit to tell him the truth.
I mean, yeah. But, I mean, Barry's one of those things, he's so chaotic that you just... Like, there's no reason not to, like, believe certain things that he says. Yeah. Obviously, other things you gotta watch out for. But, like, certain things, he's a guy with nothing to go.
He's
nowhere
also
to go.
honest about being a serial killer.
Yeah.
So, like...
Right. He's got nothing to lose there.
So...
I need you to gather everything on this list. On the double, okay?
60 pounds of pork, carbon, some ammonia. What is this?
The ingredients for a well-cooked corpse.
Human transmutation?
Of course not. I'm just gonna whip up something that looks like a human corpse.
But wait, what about when they do the autopsy?
Trust me,
this
it'll be too
is
charged
flashback.
for them to ID it. I'm not claiming to be an expert on human anatomy, but I've got plenty of experience burning corpses.
That he does.
That's
Let's
unfortunate.
Go. From this point on, you're dead.
Told you no one died last episode.
Hey there, Fullmetal.
What happened here, Colonel? Tell me!
What?
Edward's here?
Yeah, but I'm sure the Colonel will come up with something.
He did!
Come on.
Right.
Okay, so he got the call from Barry and then realized it was... Okay.
The young Lord...
So Mustang is then behind. We were wondering how Barry got out. That was plan 2. We knew that we were going to send Barry there to break him out of there. And then he also gives Breda a list of ingredients, like, hey, get me this, specifically to make a corpse look alike. Not an actual corpse, just a corpse look alike, enough that he could incinerate the thing. Because he's not really good at that stuff, but he knows how to burn a body. The whole thing was planned. Obviously, them running into the Elrics was not planned. That kind of puts a hitch in things. But when Maria encounters Mustang in the alleyway, he's like, all right, you go that way. And I'll take care of things here. And Maria has no choice but to be like, okay. And it's Jean Havoc who's there and escorts her away.
And the flaw was that Ed showed up.
Yeah.
So he had to be all like, I'm your superior officer kind of thing.
That's why the flippant personality was very weird, because it's suddenly very cold. It's because he's like, oh, shit, I gotta get this kid off my tail. And then also because this was, part of this and everything like that, and for whatever Mustang's next plan was, which we'll get to eventually, is he had to get Ed out of the way because Ed is a bit of a liability because he is an emotional teenage boy. Yes. Which, like, fair.
Yes.
But also kind of throw a wrench in things.
So is Link telling Winry and Al all of this?
Yes.
Okay, so they know that Ross is okay.
Yeah.
Right? Because that was like because Link heard everything.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
they were all good there.
Made a deal with Barry the Chopper. The orders I've been given are to personally escort this woman to the east to take refuge.
You've got to be joking. I can't believe the Colonel was able to pull one over on us like this.
He knew it'd be easier to convince you if you actually saw Lieutenant Ross. He said he didn't want to take a chance on some hot-tempered kid endangering the operation, so he sent you out here.
Hot-tempered kid!
You said operation.
So basically, and then Ling is involved with this whole thing because he was involved with like a deal to help bring Maria Ross to Jing as kind of a refugee, and where she can basically wait out until this whole thing blows over.
Hopefully, that could be a while.
It could be a while. It's the whole government that's the problem, so it could be a while.
I'm just happy she's okay.
So Lieutenant Ross is innocent.
But why take Ed? The Colonel was just trying to keep him out of his hair, wasn't he?
You got it. So, I struck up a deal with Barry to help him out with the jailbreak in exchange for the secret to his immortality. But...
And it's not like I know how they did it.
What? That's not fair!
You know what? You should ask that Alphonse kid. He's also just a soul glued to metal.
So here I am. You're supposed to tell me your secret. And I was promised you'd tell me.
And also, Ling and Barry had a deal where Ling wants to know the secrets of immortality, because obviously he sees Barry. Barry's getting shot at. Everything's fine. He's just his suit of armor. Ling's like, yo, tell me about that, would ya? And Barry's like, I don't know, it was some scientist guys, and they're all dead now. But I know this one guy. And so that's why Ling shows up to Alphonse, because he's like, hey, you tell me the secrets, maybe. That would be cool. I would love to know.
You should come to us. We know the secret.
Yeah.
Right?
We do know the secret. Yeah, trauma.
Oh, no, it's not the
trauma.
secret.
No, what's the secret?
The secret formula.
The secret formula. That's true. It is a secret formula.
Get some juice.
Remember, guys, the juice is the key part.
Is there a phase beyond liberating Lieutenant Ross?
Indeed. He's got a plan to reel in the puppeteer, the one that's behind the conspiracy.
No one calls me a...
He went on one hell of a rampage. They're bound to send someone to reclaim him.
Fullmetal Alchemist.
Oh, this is smart!
Fullmetal Alchemist. I love you, Maria. Barry was seen, so the people at the top are eventually gonna know that, oh shit, this guy's still out there, and then we'll send someone to go get him so they can silence him. So that's kind of part of the plan. That's why he wants a lot of people out of the way to clear the path for this to happen. Which the thing that they send, we saw this at the end of the episode, was this weird freaky thing. You know the freaky thing?
Yeah.
You know the freaky thing.
The Phantom of the Opera?
Yeah, he's got a mask. It's interesting. They called him Barry. I wonder why. It's because... Do I say it here or do I say it later? I can say it here. It's Barry the Chopper. They send Barry the Chopper to find Barry the Chopper.
That's fine.
Don't think about it. Anyway.
I mean, think about it.
You can think about it.
It's unethical as shit, but think about it.
I've got nothing to do with this. Zilch. And yet here I am, stuck in the middle of it.
Aww.
And framed by homunculi.
We've collected a fair amount of intelligence. And once we properly
He's
piece
so
it
good at
together,
art.
we'll have the General's killer.
One of the
Promise you
homunculi
this,
looks like the
Lieutenant.
Fuhrer.
We will absolve you of this
Interesting.
crime.
Lieutenant
What a strange coincidence.
General Hughes.
Well, I think that I'm gonna give Xing a shot.
Any parting wishes? Shall I tell your parents?
No, sir. As much as I want them to know I'm okay, I'm scared it would be too much of a risk. I just don't want to put them in that kind of danger.
She's right, but also...
Very well.
Those poor
Major
parents.
Armstrong,
Oh, her
Lieutenant
poor
Breda,
parents.
Please deliver a message to the Colonel. I need him to know how grateful I am for what he's done.
Aw.
If there's any way I can help him, tell him to send for me.
Right.
Goodbye, Edward.
Bye.
Take care of yourself, okay?
I'm glad you're not dead.
I still owe you. For slapping me, that is.
You can get me next time.
Aw.
Can we tell Brosh?
Yeah. That's fine. He'll know what he needs to know.
All right.
What's Xing like?
It's a country steeped in a rich culture. And the
No, but that's
people
one
are
of the
hardworking and
hench-
honest.
Okay, I just wanted to
I'm
make sure.
certain you'll feel at home there.
So I can expect to find a paradise on the other side of this desert?
Aw.
Yes.
Is it raining?
Although,
Aw.
I recommend preserving your fluids from this point on.
All right, so back at Xerxes, they decide that Maria's going to go over to Xing, and I think Armstrong asks, it's like, hey, do you want me to tell your parents? And she's like, I don't want them wrapped into this. I would love them to know that I'm good, but I can't really wrap them into this.
I wish there was like
And
a
she
code
says-
that they could like give them saying like she's okay.
Yeah, it's just a real shame, and of course, like as they embark on the long journey across the desert. And she gets
I'm
kind of
thinking
emotional
that
about
like if they like see Mustang for some reason somewhere, like they're gonna be mad at him.
Yeah, that's just how it's gonna be.
That's okay as long as everyone's okay with it. It's fine.
Yeah, poor Maria's family. They don't deserve any of this. Poor thing.
I do kind of wish there was a code you can give somebody being
Just be like, it's fine, it's okay. But it's not now. It's not the time. Maybe sometime will be the
I mean,
time.
maybe
It's not now.
I guess like the only thing I can think of is that like she like writes them a note being like, and then like somehow that gets like sent to them somehow, and they're like, hey, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I need to be away for a while, but like I love you,
Yeah.
and I'm alive. I'm perfectly fine. Mustang didn't do anything wrong. We're good.
Yeah.
Just like stay out of it.
Mustang did nothing wrong.
I mean, he didn't.
Starting a new hashtag. Anyway, he didn't. In this case, he's still a war criminal.
Right. I keep forgetting that. I'm just like, he's a war criminal.
Yeah.
But like a lot of them, like technically, like Armstrong's a war criminal.
Yeah.
And we love him. War is complicated, man.
War is complicated, man. There's more than meets the eye at all times, Jared. Oh! Hi!
Hold on!
Oh!
Barry! Try and relax, Bowman. We want this one alive, so don't kill
Why do
it.
we want him alive?
Yeah, meanwhile, back in Central, we kind of flip back and forth a lot, so I'm just trying to follow this. So back at Central, we see that the human body of Barry the Chopper is able to find the metal body of Barry the Chopper and attacks the hideout that Fallman and Barry are staying at. Fallman goes to shoot, but Barry kind of stops him because he kind of recognizes what's going on here. So then like a fight ensues because the human Barry the Chopper doesn't have the brain of Barry the Chopper.
Yeah.
It has a very animalistic brain. So really all it just wants, it's like, I want that thing. I want that. And so it goes kind of ape shit, which is a little scary. So meanwhile, we kind of hear, like, because Mustang's on the phone, he's talking with somebody going by the name of Elizabeth.
How about I swing by the shop sometime tomorrow? And if you ask me nicely, I'll bring a gift.
Huh? I'm sorry, hold on, Roy. Hey, Kate, we have a customer. Could you please let Jacqueline know?
Jacqueline? We have a customer.
Copy that.
What?
It's Riza, as we find out. Because last episode, he's like, oh my god, Elizabeth! And it's like, he's talking as if, this is one of his, like, girlfriends. But it's actually just him talking code with Hawkeye, which is very fun. And it's under the guise of, like, Elizabeth is a girl who, like, works at, like, a store or something. And she has, like, her coworkers. And she's like, oh, I got an angry customer coming in, which means that, like, I gotta go shoot somebody. So I think some of the names that she mentions, so Elizabeth is Riza, I think there was like a Kate.
Yeah.
And that's referring to Kane Fury, who's another member of Mustang's team. He's very good with like radios and stuff, so he's like patches the signal in and everything. And then there's, I think, Jackie, which is Gene Havoc. Gene is very good at, I don't know.
Shooting?
He's pretty good at shooting. Well, do you remember what they called him? That weird thing? Last episode?
Oh. Barry?
Smells like an ashtray. Gene Havoc? Don't you think I'm wearing this mask for a reason? Man, I can't stand working with amateurs. Sorry about that.
Yeah, and I'm sorry that you got dragged into this. Just don't do anything that would give away your involvement. They could be watching us from anywhere.
Hey! But isn't there a good chance the enemy's waiting outside?
We'll be safer there.
Will we?
We'll see.
Damn it!
Thank you.
What a good shot.
Told you it was safer. We've got the Hawk's eyes watching over us out here.
I heard a loud noise. What happened?
It was nothing. A customer was getting fresh with
God, what a queen!
Moved him around a little bit.
We're all involved. Great. It's so happy.
It's all a ruse, Dara. But it's very funny. He has like a mask on because he's trying to like protect the identity. He like shows up to shoot the human Barry the Chopper, and Fallman goes, "Gene Havoc, is that you?" And Havoc's like, "Dude, I'm undercover. You just blew your cover. I was trying not to implicate you." And Fallman's like, "Oh shit, never mind. I don't know who you are." So that kind of comes across. They do things with the intention of like, they know that people are watching them. They know that at all times somebody's either listening in or is keeping tabs on them.
Right.
So they can't trust anybody. So they try to go through a lot of lengths to make sure that certain key parts and key players are not identified.
Would you think about, I guess, because like that makes me like, obviously that kind of puts in the damper of like, I mean, obviously this theory's gone of like the sins being like magical, because like if they were, then they probably would have been aware of all this, but like clearly like they don't know everything.
Yeah. They're not magic.
They thought that like the bone that they gave them was like good enough, and like, we're good.
Yeah, I mean,
like, look, she's a corpse. It's fine.
They were like a little suspicious, like, because I think Lust is like, I'm not sure about that, but they don't know everything. They can't know that fully. But anyway, so back in the ruins of Xerxes, we see Ed. We see like a very interesting, like big wall tablet that has a transmutation circle on it. Interesting.
Uh-huh. But it's missing some.
Yeah, it's missing some of it, so I hope that doesn't come to be important later.
It's gonna, isn't it?
No. It was only sort of kind of flashed in the very first opening of the show, but like, hey, it's fine. That's why I was excited when we got to like going to the ruins of Xerxes, because there's stuff there that I'm like, ooh, I'm thinking about something later in the show. I'm excited. I'm emotional. Oh, I'm so emotional.
I thought so. It's like that transmutation circle from the 5th lab.
Mm-hmm.
A two-headed dragon and the sun. Ah, damn it! Why does the top part have to be missing?
Oh, hey, friend.
You're an Ishvalan.
Hello.
What's up?
Excuse me, young man. I'm afraid that we're gonna have to take you hostage until your military returns our Holy Land to us.
They're not gonna return squat. Not over a single kid.
It was the death of a single child that triggered the entire Ishvalan civil war.
A point.
So you really shouldn't doubt your significance in the eyes of history.
Look, he won't try to attack you again. Can you please just let him go now?
You stood up for me. I don't get it. I always heard that you guys hated Amestrians.
Honey.
Despite the atrocities your country has committed, I know that not all Amestrians are bad.
Madame Shan and I were both injured during the Civil War. But then we were saved by these 2 Amestrian doctors. To be honest.
You're not talking about the rock bells, are you?
Aww.
Are you saying you were a friend of Dr. Rockbell?
Yeah.
They saved the lives of countless Ishvalans, all throughout the course of the
good
entire
people,
war.
Dara.
Yeah.
No kidding. They were
Yeah.
like an aunt and uncle to me. How did they die?
They were killed. They were both murdered in cold blood. And it was by the hand of an Ishvalan they'd saved.
But that's so...
I'm so sorry. There was nothing we could do to stop him. But he was an Ishvalan monk and his right arm was tattooed.
Damn it!
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
If you should have the chance, would you deliver a message to the resting place of the rock bells for us? Give them our thanks and our apologies.
Aww.
Did we tell Winry?
Oh, Dara.
I feel like we should.
But while Ed is trying to figure out, he finds it very interesting. He wants to figure out, like, hey, some of these things look familiar or reminds me of kind of what we saw in the 5th lab just because of the shape and everything. And he's like, well, there's this symbol, this symbol. He's trying to decipher it. But while he's doing that, he is attacked by a guy. And so, but Ed's able to take him no problem. And it turns out that this man is Ishvalan. There's actually a ton of Ishvalan people living in the ruins of Xerxes.
Right.
Because where else are they gonna go?
And they're like, we're gonna take you hostage, kid.
Right. They're like, hey, now the military will get you, and then we can reclaim our Holy Land.
And then Ed's like, that's not gonna work.
They're like, they don't care about me. They're like, but it was one kid, which is why this war started. So like, anything is possible. Do not downplay your own importance. That's not why the war
started. That was just an excuse for the war to start.
Kind of, yeah.
And then propaganda.
So there is a woman who shows up, an older woman by the name of Shan, and you know, they're like, "Hey, let the kid go. We don't need to be doing all this." And Ed gets confused because he's like, "I thought you guys hated people like me."
Propaganda.
Yup. He's like, "I thought you hated our kind." They're like, "No."
I mean, you tried to kill us.
I mean, like, we're not a big fan because like a lot of your guys try to kill our guys, so we don't love ya. But you know, a lot of them got injured in the war, and a lot of them were fixed up and helped by this wonderful pair of doctors.
Who could it be?
Who could it be? Does it happen to be Mr. and Mrs. Dr. Rockbell.
I like heard the name and I'm like, is that what I think it is? And then it was what it was.
So Winry's parents, who we know before were doctors, went off to the war, unfortunately ended up dying in the war. They weren't just doctors for the Amestrian military, they helped out like everyone. So they actually helped out a lot of Ishvalans too. And so a lot of people like took that to heart and realized that like, hey, we gotta be excellent to each other, which like, we love that.
And party on, dudes?
Party on, dudes. Be excellent to each other. And so, yeah.
And I think that kind of, like makes, like, the older woman, like be, like, want to tell Ed stuff more because, like, he's like, oh, they were like an aunt and uncle to me.
Yeah, because he's like, he's not talking about the Rockbells. They're like, you know the Rockbells? It's like, yeah. Like, they were family to Ed. And at that point, they ask about
I think it's, like, how they died. And I was assuming that just, like, they got, like, somebody like they were like working and like somebody like bombed or shot up their location, which like happens. I'm like, okay, like I assume they didn't like they just like died normally, but then
but it turns out everyone's kind of really bummed about how they died because they were killed by an Ishvalan, which real bummer.
So murdered.
They were murdered by a guy that had his face was covered, but he had a lot of tattoos on his arm. And those tattoos kind of look like a guy that we know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not on our side.
Not. It
complicated.
It's not a good look.
No.
Dara. It's not a good look for our buddy Scar.
Especially from the fact that like the Ishvalans are like, no, these were good people.
Yeah, like even they're like upset about it because they're like that actions do not reflect the views of our people.
Right.
Just putting it out there.
So now, I mean, like, now I'm just like, why?
Yeah, it's a great question.
So, like,
why?
now Ed's got to tell Winry that, like, hey.
Would he, though?
I think he would.
The truth will always find a way. That's all I'll say. But yeah, unfortunately, so
I kind of feel, I mean, maybe if it doesn't come up, then he won't.
If we don't think about it, nothing will happen.
Right, but I feel like he wouldn't just like bring it up or anything, but maybe
no, he would just be like, "Hey, Winry, I found out some great information today. You're gonna love this."
Like I feel like maybe like Scar like attack somebody soon or something like that, and like Winry was like involved in that attack, and like something like that. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Don't kill Winry.
No. Winry's fine.
She's got plot armor.
Winry does have plot armor.
That's good.
Yeah, I think I'm safe to say that. So that's kind of where we leave off. So Ed is kind of spared by the Ishvalan refugees, even though they would love to have a home again and not live in the ruins of somewhere else. They would love to like go back to where they were living before.
Hey, maybe we could like let them like live in Central City and like have like people, everybody like get along with them because they're not bad people.
Why did they want to live at Central? That's not where their homes were.
I know, but it doesn't, I think aren't their homes destroyed?
They can rebuild them. They just need to be.
Why don't we give them their land back?
Oh. Why don't we give them their land back? That'd be great. That'd be really great.
Listen to us Americans. We're great at giving people their land back.
We're actually really good at that. Oh my god. So anyway, that's where we leave that. So Scar killed the Rockbells, but the other Shawns, they let Ed go. Now Ed has to return back to Amestris. With that knowledge, it'll be fine.
Clearly it won't.
Yeah, but we're going back to Central and we have to deal with this Barry situation. So there's it's a tale of two Barrys. There's Barry with a brain and there's Barry with the body.
A tale of two stands?
Yeah, exactly. Tale of two stands. Tale of two Barrys.
To be fair, one with the body, one with the brain.
Yes, one has the body, one has the brain.
And not even the body.
Never the two shall meet again.
I thought this guy looked familiar. That's my old human body!
What?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Those sick bastards must have dumped the soul of some feral
Those
lab animal
bastards!
into my body. And it came to find me because it wants its real soul back. Talk about memories. I haven't even seen this guy since the day my soul got yanked out of him.
Aw. Yeah.
You know how amazing this is? I mean, how often does a guy get the chance to chop up his own body into tiny little pieces?
I'm pretty sure that would kill him, and you told me not to do that.
Well, this changes things, damn it!
That's fair.
I'm That body's way past its expiration date.
That's fair.
Oh, man. That's what stinks?
This is just cruel! I have to do it! It's my body, so it's up to me!
Just let him do it.
Put me on the chopping block!
But Barry has decided, he's like, oh my god, the body wants to get back with the soul. I can feel it. I'm gonna chop that sucker up.
Let him. It's fine.
So they stop him from doing that though, because Havoc is like, dude, quit it, because the thing that they sent out is going to lead them back to the people who set all this up.
Oh.
So they need it for collateral, and they need it for gathering information about getting to the bottom of who set this whole thing up. So that's why they can't let Barry destroy Barry yet.
But think of the pork.
Think of the pork. So,
just a squabble. One of the customers is mouthing off. Oh no, I'm gonna have to call you right back. I've got a customer of my own to—
Damn it! How can you run?
Just get out of here, honey. Well, Hawkeye's in the tower because she's a fantastic sniper.
Yeah.
Like, her name, they call her the Hawk's Eye because she has eyes like a hawk, and her real name is Hawkeye. Like, it can't get any more clear than that. This is where I was talking in a previous episode of how we run into like these weird kind of translation things about where it's very clear in English, but they have to explain it to people who don't know English.
Yeah.
So like Hawkeye's name is Hawkeye, and so we know like, oh, she has a hawk eye, like she's very good at seeing things, but they have to be like, it's the Hawk's Eye, Hawkeye, and we're like, yes, I'm confused.
I get it.
It's like I have a friend who is bilingual, grew up speaking Spanish and English, and she hated Dora the Explorer because anytime they said something, she was like, they're just saying the same thing twice. I'm so confused.
I mean, I also hate Dora the Explorer.
Yeah.
But that's because people would confuse my name for that, and then if I'm tan enough, I look up at Hispanics, and they just call me Dora the Explorer.
Oh. Lo siento.
And ask me where Boots is.
Oh. Boots is dead. So no, he's not. Maybe he is. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if we think about the there was a robot chicken of Dora the Explorer, who was like her quinceañera, but she was like a drunk. And then Boots was just like a monkey monster that was just killing people. It was great.
Fantastic. Anyway, Hawkeye's in the tower. I think Fury is also in that same tower, just like a little pushback because we kind of see that revealed later episode. But as they're on the radio, then we see we have an unexpected visitor. And it's Gluttony. You remember that guy?
Yeah.
He big. He's very like soft looking.
He eats people.
But he eats people, so he is not one to be trifled with. And that's kind of where we end that episode, with the threat of Gluttony hanging overhead.
Killing Hawkeye.
It's gonna be fine.
I mean, it is.
Yeah, about to kill Hawkeye. It's fine. Dara, what did you think of this episode?
I liked it. I mean, I'm happy that it turns out people are smarter than we thought they were.
Yeah.
And like that a lot of the confusing stuff has like it worked. We're like, okay.
Because you were completely right when we were talking about this last episode. You're like, I'm so confused because this doesn't add up, this doesn't add up. Or like, why would they do that? It just doesn't feel like in line with the character. Or it's like, I guess if you think about it like this, but there's still a piece missing. And we're like, yeah, that's because the whole thing wasn't that at all.
Yeah.
I've talked about this before, but this show is not afraid to let people be smart in a way where they do the work too.
Right. I think in like other shows that I've seen where like something similar happened, where like you think something might not happen, but like sometimes with those shows, there's like maybe this person did the bad thing, maybe they did a good thing, and you're kind of like, it's like more ambiguous.
Yeah.
And then you find out the truth, and then you're like, all right, I gotcha.
Yeah, no, this one led us in a completely different direction. But then the way they go back and explain it, everything falls into place. And you're like, oh my god, everything makes sense now.
I'm just happy, because I was like so pissed at Mustang. And now I'm happy I don't be pissed at Mustang.
Yeah.
Because I was like, you're being, because I'm just like, oh, you're like being so dumb, and I felt like everybody... Like I felt like he was like being an idiot. Yes. Like, I'm like, you have this information. Do you not get all? And I was trying to be like, okay, maybe he didn't get all the information, but then I'm kind of like, all right, something's weird.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Would you like some trivia?
Sure.
During the scene where Major Armstrong and Edward Elric arrive in Risenbull, Mei Chang and Xiao Mei are seen in the background.
I did see that.
So we did see that. We're like, oh my god, it's those guys. We love them. I hope we see more of them soon.
I'm sad she didn't get to see Ed, because then she would have been like,
oh my god! Or had her heart broken, one of those two.
Both.
Breda's explanation of Roy's plan to free Maria Ross is placed earlier than it was in the original manga, and also shortened. We don't learn that Ross is still alive until until after the events of the next episode, whereas in the anime it's before. Several humorous scenes involving Roy on the phone with Barry are also cut, including a scene where Barry knocks Feldman out cold.
I think it's better that we found out now, because I'm like, with the events that happen in the next episode, I feel like if I didn't know that Maria was alive before those events, I would have maybe not have felt what's up with them saying, I kind of be like, yeah, let him die.
Because we talk about like adaptations and how they change things, and it's not always for the bad things, for the worse, because sometimes just when you're when you're adapting media, you have to change things. I feel like it was such a smart choice, because you're right, and just with how this is released and everything like that, the different formats and everything, especially if you're like reading, it could be different, but like we want to root for Mustang. We don't want to be like, now we can fully, in the events of the next episode, be like, oh my god, Mustang, go off.
I get that he's a war criminal, but like a lot of them are war criminals, let's be honest here.
Yeah, it was really funny, because I'm glad that I read that, because when we got to this episode, I looked at where this episode was going when I was reading beforehand. I was like, oh, we're doing that episode now? Why did I think that happened later? And it's because in the manga it happens later.
Right.
So I'm not losing it. Yet. And you know well.
Today.
Additionally, the scene of Ed, Breda, and Major Armstrong originally meeting Mr. Han inside a coffee shop in Risible before traveling to the desert has been cut. Makes sense for timing purposes. Yeah. All right. That is a good episode. We see things that I like, which is one, confirming that Maria is alive.
Yay!
I'm glad that happened just the next episode, because I don't know how much longer I could have kept that charade up. I was struggling last episode. I was like, nobody died, and you're like, oh yeah, somebody died, and I was like, no, nobody died.
You know what the good thing is? I didn't pick up on it. And like you saying like, oh, nobody died. I was like,
you thought I was being sarcastic.
Yes, immensely.
Yeah.
So like, honestly, like you played it off really well.
Thank you. I'm very proud of that. So it's
Do you want a cookie?
Fun time. Are you offering?
I don't have any. You want some popcorn?
I'll get some of that later. I usually treat myself after our recording sessions by going to like Mickey D's and getting fries and a McFlurry.
You can get how do you suck at McFlurries? Because I just assume the ice cream machine's broken all the time.
Most time I'm lucky. A few times I haven't been. So like, knock on wood.
Go to Rita's.
I could go to Rita's. It'll be too late by the time I get back though.
Oh, because you have to eat it.
Yeah.
Well, the McFlurry still gets I guess depending on where you go.
Guess what?
And I would say the McFlurry would also melt, but I guess it depends like where you get it.
I get it like right next to home. It's not melting. It's the place is open by the time I leave here and then go back across state lines to where I live. Anyway, so that was a fun episode. I loved seeing Maria. I love the Xerxes stuff, because that's
also
it sets the stage for some interesting stuff later.
Can we just like let Denny know, because they seemed like buddies.
Yeah, buddies.
I know it
poor Denny.
And like I would say like, oh, but like with the parent situation, it might be safer for him not to know. Yeah. But then I'm also like, Denny's a military guy, so he can probably take care of himself.
Yeah.
So like, can we go?
But also he was always a little dopey though. Like he's not stupid, he's a little like Labrador retriever.
I just want
everyone to be happy. Things will happen when they need to happen, Dara. You gotta trust me on that.
Okay.
All right. I think we should take a break.
Okay.
And we come back, we'll talk about episode 19, Death of the Undying.
Woohoo!
Stay tuned.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. I'm not gonna lie.
It's fine. Let it all out. It's fine. Oh, I know why. I'm thinking of there's a very specific transmutation circle that becomes like relevant at some point. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
You boys just have to keep moving forward in any way you can.
Elle and I committed a taboo. We still have people that help us. Some people get angry at us. Others support us silently. Each one of them has tried to help me keep my promise to my brother.
No.
I refuse to let another person become a victim. Not while I'm alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love you,
I
Ed.
know that's a hard promise to keep. It's hard enough just trying to take care of myself. And to think that I'm even capable of it. Maybe I'm just arrogant. But it's the only thing I can think of. So I have to do it. I have to.
Cool.
Alright, so what's lunch? Anybody? Anybody?
Right.
Something, don't think about your feelings. Nice. Oh my god.
What?
I accidentally pressed the zoom in button as well. I was doing that and just like went in really far and I was like, oh no, not my attention.
The power of editing?
Power of editing.
Woo! Okay.